All right, so the idea is you're given an integer array, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, something like, right, which represents the number 1,234, and you add 1 to it. But the trick is with this, you can't just simply convert this to the number like this. You can't just convert it to 1, 2, 3, 4 as an integer and then add 1. You could do that, but the constraints, right, we could have up to 100 digits, which is way larger than the integer max, or I don't even know, maybe even the long max probably. So you need to do it in the array. You can't turn it into an integer. But the idea of it is still pretty simple because it's just basic math, right? If you took the number 1,234 and added 1 to it, what would you do? Well, you'd add these numbers here, right? And then you'd have 5 with a carry of 0. You add these numbers, 3, carry of 0, 2, carry of 0, 1. That's the result. Now, what makes it a little bit trickier is if, say, you have a 9 in this position, right? Because then when you add these, there's actually a carry now, right? So this would be 10, right? This would equal 10. So, but you wouldn't write 10 here. You need to only place one value. So you'd take the 10 and you take this value and put it here. Right? If this was 11, for example, if you were writing a 3 or rather 2, this is 11, you'd take this value and put it here. But in this case, we're doing 1. So you take this value and put it here. You take this value and put it here, right? And then you do the same thing. 1 plus 2, 3, which again would be obviously 3. So you take this value, put it here. You take this value, which is the 0, put it here. So the answer is 130. Again, not super complicated, it's just basic math. It's more about figuring out how to put that into code. And of course, a little bit more tricky example would be something where it will, there's enough carryovers for this to end up being more digits, right? This is 3 digits here. Of course, the answer plus 1 would be 1,000. So there'd be 4 digits. You wouldn't be able to use the original array. You'd have to create a new one, but that's not super challenging. So the way I did this was I would take, so let's just say we were working with 129, 129. What I do is I have a total, right? I have a variable called result and one called carry. And because the nature of the problem is adding 1, right? The whole idea is to add 1. We'll start with carry at 1 because it's almost like we're in the middle of the whole process that I'll explain here with a carry at 1. That's why we start with that. Hopefully that'll make a little more sense once I do this. So the idea is you take the carry and add it, right? Well, we're working with this value first. Obviously, we're working backwards, just like if you were adding these numbers, you would do this first, and then this, and then this, right? So what we do is we do the number here. We'll just call this the digit plus carry. So digit plus carry is 10. And we'll take 10, and we'll do 10 mod 10, and we'll do 10 divided by 10. This would actually be integer division, but in Java, you don't necessarily need to explicitly call that. But in Python, you'd have to do 2 slashes. But anyways, so we'll just do that here. What we'll do, so 10 mod 10 is 0, right? And this will be the result. And the result will be what we end up putting in place of this value, right? In the same way, if you did it like normal math, you would put a 0 here and move the 1 over here, right? This is the result. This is the carry, right? So 10, so this is the carry, or rather this is the result, my bad. So result 0, and then 10 integer divided by 10 would be 1, and that would be the next carry. And of course the total here was 10 that we end up using to parse out the result carry. So what we do is we replace the digit here with the result. We move the carry over here, and then we repeat the process. So add these together, the digit plus the carry would be 3, which would be the total. We then parse this, use this to parse the result carry. 3 mod 10 would be 3, and that's the result. 3 divided by 10, integer division specifically, would be 0. So we replace this with the result, 3, and we put the carry over here, which of course is 0, and we repeat the process. So total is 0 plus 1 equals 1, the total is 1. We use that to get the resultant carry again. So we would, 1 mod 10 would be 1, that's the result. 1 integer divided by 10 would be, what was that, 0? The carry is 0. So replace the digit with the result. And in this case, we're done. You would have to, in order to deal with cases like this, where this would end up equaling 1000, right? You will need to check, at the end of the result, once we're done with this process, do we have a carry left over? Is carry not equal to 0, or is it equal to 1, or is it greater than 0, whatever? If it is, what you do, so let's say, for example, we end here. So let's say we did 999, it would be 0, 0, 0 at the end. We'd have a carry of 1. I don't remember what these values would be, but they don't really matter. And we'd say, okay, if we have a carry of 1, so what we're going to do is make a new array that is the size of the original digits plus 1, so we'll have 4 slots. We'll put the carry value in the first slot, the 0th index, and then just fill the rest of these in, right, like this. So that would end up being this. And you just return that. So it looks something like this. So we have our totals, we have our result, we have our carry. Remember, we're starting that at 1 because the idea of this is to add plus 1 to the original number. And then we go through each digit in the digits array, starting from the end. And we'd want to go up to including the original, the 0th index element. And what we do is we say total is the given digit plus the carry from the last time, which for the first iteration is 1, but for the rest of them it might be 1 or 0. The sum, again, remember, well, it's gone now, but we use this, we take the, rather it's not sum, the result is the total mod 10, right? We're taking, so for example, if the total is 12, we'll take the 2 and use that as a new value for this position. And the carry is total integer division 10, right? So again, if it's 12, if the total is 12, then we'll take the 2 will become the result, the 1, which in this place value is a 10, but it becomes a 1 in the next place value, would be the carry. And then we take the current digit and replace it with the result, and then just repeat this process. And at the end, once we're done, if carry is greater than 0, which it really should only be 0 or 1, but it's just better to put it that way, I guess, we'll create a new digits array, which will be the same size as the digits plus an extra space. And we'll just, the first item will be the carry that we have left over, and then we'll iterate through the rest of them. And fill it up with the new digits, which are now modified because of this line right here. So we just say new digits, I equals digits. It would be I minus 1, because of course we're working with an array that looks like something like, right, and our new array should look like, so the 0th, or rather the first index, the 1 index in this new array should be 0 in the last. 2 in the new array should be 1 in the last, so it needs to be minus 1. And then in this case, we'll return the new digits. But if this didn't happen, if we didn't need to do all this, we can just return. We can do an else or without, it doesn't really matter. We'll return the original digits that have been modified. Oh, my mistake here. Shouldn't have put a -1. What the fuck? This should be a height greater than. Those are funny little mistakes. There we go. So 100% faster. This is kind of meaningless because I did this exact same solution. I got like 50%, so I don't really know what that means, but yeah, there you go.